everyone, welcome to Learn with me. So today in our class we are going to learn about how to change the voices from active to passive in case of the interrogative negative sentences in present indefinite tense. So the change of voice of the interrogative negative sentences in present indefinite tense. So first of all, let us know what is interrogative negative sentence. So interrogative means asking questions, right? This is asking questions. This is interrogative, and we always put a note of interrogation at the end of these sentences. This is interrogative. Now negative. Negative means not in the positive or affirmative sense. This is not in the positive or affirmative sense. So the sentences that are in negative sense and as well as asking questions, these are known as interrogative negative sentences. So now we would see how can we change the voices from active to passive in case of these interrogative negative sentences. So let us first try to know what is the structure of the active voice in this particular interrogative negative sentence. So let us know it. Let us first try to write the active structure of this kind of sentences. So let us first take an example of this kind of sentences into active form. Then we will try to dissect the structure of that sentence. So let me write an example. Do we not play football? If I write like this, do we not play football? So as you can see, we are asking a question, but that question we are asking in a negative sense. This is definitely we are asking a question. From this it is pretty clear. But this sentence is actually in the negative form because we have used not that signifies the negativity of this sentence. So do we not play football? This is an example of interrogative negative sentence in active form. So now let us try to know the structure of this particular active sentence. So this one is do or does. It will depend on the person and number of the pronoun, or it will depend on the subject, the person of the subject. After that, subject. As we can see pretty clearly that we have we as the subject here. After that, what we are going to use? We are going to use the negativity of this sentence, that is not. That signifies that the sentence is in negative sense. After that, the verb that we are going to use, this is verb. After this verb, what we have to use? As we can see, football. That means the object. So verb plus object. After this object, if others are there, we are going to use this others as well. And after that, obviously at the end, a note of interrogation. So this is what the structure of the active voice in case of interrogative negative sentences. So first, this is do oblique does, then the subject, then not, then verb, then we are going to use the object, and then others if any, and at the end we are going to put the note of interrogation. So this one is the active structure. Now let us try to know what would be the passive structure of this particular kind of sentences. So as we know from the general rules that this subject of the active sentence becomes the object in the passive sentence, and this particular object in the passive sentence becomes the subject of the active sentence, or the vice versa. So let us do it. Let us try to find out, let us try to write the structure of the passive of this kind of interrogative negative sentences. So the passive structure, what is that? First we know we have to use the be verbs am, is and are. These be verbs we have to use, it will be according to the subject of this passive sentence, means the object of this active sentence. After that, the object we have to use, the object of the active sentence. After that, not. After that, the third form of the verb. Here the verb, this verb, the third form of that verb we have to use next. So, third verb. After that, by. After that, the subject, this subject, the subject of the active voice we have to use in place of the passive voice, in place of the object. So this subject. Then obviously others, if any. And at the end, a note of interrogation. So this is what the structure of both active as well as passive voice in case of interrogative negative sentences in present indefinite tense. So what is the active structure? Let us once again do it. The active structure, like do or does, then the subject, then not, then the verb, then object, others, and note of interrogation if we have any at the end. This one is the active structure of interrogative negative in present indefinite tense. What is the passive structure of this kind of sentence? Am, is, are, that means the be verbs. It will be used accordingly. Then the object of this active voice. Then not. After that, the third form of the verb. Next we have to use, as per the general rules, a by. And after that, the subject of the active voice we have to put here. And then if we do have others, we have to put, and obviously at the end we have to put a note of interrogation. So this is the structure. Now let us take an example and let us try to change that example from active to passive following this particular structure. Once again, I would like to say that if we remember the structures, it is very easy to change the voices. Just we have to remember the structures. So now let us take an example of interrogative negative in present indefinite tense. So let me write the sentence, that is interrogative negative sentence in active sense. Like, do we not play cricket every day? This one is a sentence in interrogative negative form in present indefinite tense. So we have to change this active into passive. While changes this active into passive, we'll try to remember the structures that we have just seen. So how to change this? Let us try. But before that, let us know the different parts of this particular active voice. Like first we have do, then we, that means the subject, then a not, implying the negativity, then play, that means the verb of the sentence, then cricket, that is the object of the sentence, and every day, which will come under the segment others, and at the end, note of interrogation. Now let us change it into passive. So we have remembered the structure. First we have to use the be verbs, and those be verbs like am, is, are, it will depend on the object of this active voice. So the object here is cricket. That means third person singular number. This cricket is in third person singular. So in case of third person singular number, in present indefinite tense, the be verb should be is. So first we are using is. Then the object of the active voice. So cricket. Then not, implying the negative property of the sentence. Then the third form of the verb. After that, we have to use a by. Then the subject of the active, this we would be termed as us, following the change of pronoun in the pronoun table that we have already discussed. After that, these others we have to use as it is. Then obviously a note of interrogation. So this one is the passive. We have turned the active into passive, following the structures. Here we can see be verb, then the object of the active voice, then not, then the third form of the verb, that means this particular verb, then by, then the subject of the active voice, then others, then obviously a note of interrogation. So this is how we can change the interrogative negative sentences from active to passive, following that certain structures. Those structures we would remember, and then it will be pretty easy for us to change the mode of voice from active to passive in case of interrogative negative sentences in present indefinite tense. So that is all about the change of voice of the negative sentences in interrogative, that means interrogative negative sentences in present indefinite tense. This one is the active and this one is the passive. Hope the concept is clear, and it will be cleared if we try and if we practice more and more. So practice makes us perfect. So we have to practice it to know it more clearly and to understand it pretty clearly. So this is all about the change of voice from active to passive in case of interrogative negative sentences in present indefinite tense. Hope things is clear. So thank you all.